king and queen had long yearned for a child. One day, the queen was out bathing in the royal pond when a frog climbed onto the bank and told her she would give birth to a child within a year. Happily, the frog's prediction came true, and a year later they had a daughter, whom they named Aurora. All in the kingdom rejoiced at the arrival of their new princess, and a great feast was held in celebration. The wise women of the land were given a special welcome. Yet of the 13 wise women in the land, only 12 were invited, because the 13th had not left her tower in over 50 years, and it was believed she was dead or enchanted. After the feast, the wise women offered Princess Aurora blessings of beauty, kindness, a beautiful singing voice, graceful dancing, and all the things a princess needs. But just then, the overlooked wise woman appeared in a flash of lightning and cursed the infant princess.
The princess will harm herself on a spinning wheel and fall down dead.
Then she disappeared in a puff of smoke, and everyone trembled with fear. But the youngest wise woman had not yet offered her blessing. "Comfort yourselves, king and queen. While it is true I do not have the power to undo the spell, I can soften it. The princess will harm herself on a spinning wheel. However, she will not die, but rather fall down in a deep slumber." The king ordered all spinning wheels be brought to the palace, and they burned on a great consuming fire which raged for 3 nights. And so the princess grew up not knowing what such a thing looked like. When the princess was 16 years old, she saw an old woman passing by the palace with a spinning wheel in her arms. She called to the woman to come inside and show her the strange object. Almost as soon as Aurora sat down to spin, a tiny piece of flax became caught under her fingernail, and she fell down as though dead. The king and queen, in their deep sorrow, took the princess to a lonely palace deep in the woods, locked the door, and tried to forget their aching sadness over their daughter's tragic fate. Then one day, a prince was hunting in the woods and came upon the lonely palace. He was curious about who might live there, but the door was locked. So he climbed through a window and went exploring. It seemed empty until he came to the princess's bedchamber, and, well, there he saw the most beautiful woman he'd ever laid eyes on, asleep in her bed. But no matter how loudly he greeted her, she wouldn't wake. He even shook her gently by the arm, but still she slept. But although she wouldn't wake herself, she'd awoken in him a great passion. And while the princess slept, he lay down beside her, unburdened her from her fine garments, gave way to his desires and, well, gathered the fruits of her love. And when all was done, still she slept. So the prince left her sleeping and went home to his own palace, where he promptly forgot all about her. Meanwhile, the princess continued to sleep and sleep and sleep. And 9 months later, she gave birth to a beautiful daughter. But still, she slept. The following day, the baby reached for her sleeping mother's breast to feed, but instead, she suckled on her mother's finger and dislodged the tiny bit of flax. Princess Aurora awoke to find herself a mother. She wept for the loss of her innocence and rejoiced in her beautiful child all at once. At this time, it happened that the prince remembered the beautiful woman in the palace, and he went riding in the woods again to see her. When he discovered that she was awake and saw their child, he was overjoyed. The couple fell in love, were married, and lived happily ever after. So they say.
So that's how the old story goes. But what if we look beneath the surface? Did the princess sleep through an immaculate conception or an immaculate deception? And what did she dream of while she slept in those deep, dark, enchanted woods? Let's unthread the seams of Sleeping Beauty and see what lies within.